Chapter 2, Part 2, Macro-environmental factors. Remember, these are the pestled factors. We're going to look at all of them now in detail. Okay, there we go. Demographic factors, economic factors, natural or environmental factors, technological factors, political forces, cultural forces, which are also social, and then of course lastly legal, which is not in this diagram. Okay, let's first look at social or cultural factors. Social change is one of the most difficult variables to forecast, influence, or integrate into marketing plans. And it includes the consumer's attitudes, values, and lifestyles, known as VALs. It influences the products people buy, the prices they're prepared to pay, the effectiveness of promotions like buy one get one free, and how and where and when consumers purchase products. Consumer values. Today, consumers are very demanding and inquisitive and discriminating. I want more, right? They want more product for their money. They're no longer willing to tolerate products that break down, and they insist on high quality products that are healthy or save time and energy. People are picky. They want good products for their money. In South Africa, demanding consumers are becoming an increasingly evident trend. A few current trends are as follows. Shoppers are conscious of environmental issues like going green. 4 out of 5 are willing to pay more for products with biodegradable packaging. In other words, packaging that's going to disintegrate eventually. Few consider expensive cars or designer clothes necessary for a happy life. There's an increasingly value on non-material accomplishments, like being able to control their own lives and not having a big car or a big house. It's not as important as it used to be. Some more trends. There's dual career families. In other words, both the mother and the father are working, which means that they suffer from time poverty. In other words, they don't have as much time to spend with their kids and to do the things that they want to do because both parents need to work. There's only a few hours to shop, sleep, and handle the kids. There's more consumers who are commuting, right? So they are traveling to work, then they're at work, and then they have to travel back home, which means they don't really spend much time at home. They just really eat and sleep there because they're spending so much of their time working and commuting. There are many people these days working from home, which is known as a virtual office. More and more, because of the internet and laptops, people can just work from home. Also, people are struggling to separate work from leisure, especially if they are working from home. They're just working all the time. And there's a special need in society today, which is that people need convenience and time-saving products and services. Because they have such little time, they really need products that can help them save time and that are convenient. The changing role of families and working women. Okay, there's a rising purchasing power as a result of double income families. In other words, families have more money to spend because both parents are working. Also, women's earnings are growing, as well as their expertise and their experience, and of course their authority that they have now that they have money. They're also expecting different things now from their jobs, and from their husbands, and from their products and services. Right, they have expectations now because they've got money that they're spending. There's new services that are coming about because women are working, like gardening services. The women can't do the gardening anymore, so they need the service to do it for them. They need home deliveries because the women can't go pick things up anymore because they're not just looking after the kids at home. There's fast food because there's no time to cook. Childcare because who's going to look after the kids now that mum's working? Right? There's a lot of new desires for certain services because of this dual career families. Okay, then let's consider a social trend or fad. What is a social trend or fad? Well, firstly we need to distinguish between a trend and a fad. Being first to act on a new trend can create a very powerful competitive advantage. Very alert marketers can make millions from reaping the short-term rewards of fads. For example, the Tamagotchi. Don't know if you know what the Tamagotchi is. It's a little digital pet. I had one when I was in primary school. It was a fad. It didn't last very long. It was only around for a year or two. And of course, the Vuvuzela was also a fad during the 2010 World Cup. Everyone had a Vuvuzela, but you don't really see as many of them anymore. And of course, there's lots of fashion fads. They're here this year and then they're gone next year. That was a fad a few years ago. It's these glasses that you can't really see out of because they've got these, plastic lines across them, but apparently they were cool. Right, so a fad is a short-term thing. It doesn't last very long. It's about a year in which it's a craze, everyone buys one, and then it's gone. Okay? Another fad was Pepsi's Ice Cucumber Soda. It appeared on the shelves at Japanese convenience stores in the early June of 2007, and within days, YouTube and bloggers were debating whether it tasted more like melon or cucumber. Within a couple of weeks, all 4.8 million bottles that they had produced were sold out. Pepsi brand managers in Japan did the unthinkable. They actually discontinued the drink. They didn't continue with it. They stopped producing it. They said the following: "We didn't want it on the market past the summer. The value of Ice Cucumber is that it's gone already." That was apparently the value of Ice Cucumber, is that it was a fad. Either you got to try it or you didn't. Ice Cucumber was largely a marketing stunt, a way to generate buzz for the brand in the cutthroat beverage market. Obviously, they are up against Coca-Cola and they wanted to create a buzz for Pepsi. Okay, these are some trends. Now, trends are not just this year. They are long-lasting. They start and then they just continue. People continue to engage in them for a long time. Years, sometimes decades. For example, healthier lifestyles. People have been starting to live healthier and more people are living healthier every year. Buying things like diet cool drinks, low-calorie foods, Canderel sweeteners instead of sugar, and so forth. Distance or online learning. More and more people are beginning to learn online because they just have more access to education from all around the world. They don't have the time to go to classes. And HIV and AIDS is an important social trend. It's a negative trend, but it's still a trend. It still affects everyone. 20 to 30% of the South African population are HIV positive. So it's extremely important because most victims of HIV are in the economically active age group. In other words, they're between the age of 15 and 45, which is the group of the population that's working and earning money. Which means that there's a dramatic loss of productivity on the one hand, which is affecting the economy, and on the other hand, there's a loss of money that can be spent on products and services to drive consumerism, which obviously drives the economy further. But it's also an opportunity to some firms, like funeral parlors, and it's an enormous threat to some others. HIV plus families are also found to cut back on durable goods like TVs and cars. They spend less money on semi-durable goods like footwear and clothing and textiles. So in general, they're spending less money on those things because they're spending more money on medication, but also it's often because the family members that would have been working to make money are not working anymore or have passed away. They also often take their children out of school to take care of the sick. Also, they might not be able to afford books and stationery and other things that the children need to go to school. FMCG goods, that stands for fast moving consumer goods. Those are the things that fly off the shelves. Usually your products that you find in Pick n Pay, or most of the goods in Pick n Pay are fast moving consumer goods. You need to buy them every week or every month. They're fast moving. That's a very vulnerable sector, as 35% of customers' households have HIV plus family members. Okay, so and most families need to buy FMCG goods often, but when they have HIV positive members in their family, they don't have as much money to buy those things. And life insurance firms are also vulnerable because now people are dying earlier, which means they're not paying as much money to the life insurance company over the extended period of their lives because they're not living as long. It means the life insurance companies have to pay out sooner sometimes.